In 1958, the University of Iowa had arguably the greatest football team in program history. The team, led by coach Forrest Evashevsky, went 8-1-1, winning the Rose Bowl, Big Ten Championship, and was awarded the national championship according to the Football Writers Association of America, or FWAA for short. Forrest Evashevsky was an accomplished football player in his day and had been hired as coach after a season of coaching at Washington State University. He was hired during the 1952 to 1953 football season and became an instant success, turning around the University of Iowa football program, winning 3 Big Ten championships, 2 Rose Bowls, and a national championship. In 1956, Forrest coached the team to a 9-1 season, winning the Big Ten title and a Rose Bowl, making the team one of the most dominant forces in college football. One of his greatest successes was recruiting star quarterback Randy Duncan in 1955. Duncan started slow, but eventually made his way to starting quarterback during the 1957 season. That year, the team went 7-1-1, winning the Big Ten championship. During his senior year, the 1958 season, Duncan made his name known as being one of the greatest quarterbacks in all of college football. This season, Duncan threw 106 for 179 passes, with 12 touchdowns and 1,397 yards. He led the nation in total offense, complete percentage, and total passing yards. Duncan was named Big Ten Player of the Year and finished a close second in the Heisman race. He was the first pick in the 1959 draft by the Green Bay Packers, but instead went to play professionally in Canada. After 2 years in Canada, Duncan played 1 year in the NFL. He was known to be a very humble athlete, and once said, "Listen, I was a quarterback playing with a bunch of talented guys. Being in the right place at the right time was probably more important than my ability." However, his great accomplishments and amazing stats make him one of the greatest quarterbacks ever to wear a Hawkeye football jersey. After football, Duncan went to Drake University for his law degree and became a successful lawyer. The captain during the 1958 Hawkeye season was fullback John Nokura. Nokura rushed in 3 touchdowns that season and went on to play with the Philadelphia Eagles. Kurt Murs was another famous player starting at left end. Murs finished with over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns and went on to play with the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl I. The 1958 season started well, with a 17-0 win over Texas Christian and followed by a shocking tie to Air Force. This was a huge statement early on the season. However, the Hawkeyes never let it get to their heads and went on to win their next 5 games in the Big Ten. Possibly, their biggest challenge occurred during Week 4 against number 4 ranked Wisconsin. This was the Hawkeyes' first big test, and they came up on top, winning the game 20-9. This win would later go on to be the deciding game for the Big Ten championship and would be Wisconsin's only loss in the Big Ten. A few games later, the Hawkeyes took a disappointing loss to Ohio State. After that, they won their final conference game against Notre Dame and secured the Big Ten championship. The Hawkeyes ended the regular season with a record of 7-1-1 and a bid to the Rose Bowl. The Hawkeyes dominated California in the Rose Bowl game, beating them 38-12. They put up a total of 516 yards on offense, including an 81-yard touchdown by running back Bob Jeter. Jeter also went on to win the MVP of the Rose Bowl. After their impressive season in the Big Ten and the beating they gave California in the Rose Bowl, the FWAA awarded the University of Iowa the national championship. At this time, there was no game to decide a national champion. This was Iowa's first and is still the only national championship ever won by the Hawkeyes. The 1958 season will be one never forgotten in Iowa football history. After this season, the team lost their star quarterback Randy Duncan and a few other key players. Iowa football went on to struggle during the next season, the 1959